She will be talking about, once the child has developed the competencies, she will be talking about how the child's competencies are to be assessed or understood. Over to you, Meenakshi, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful opportunity. First of all, I'm grateful to CEIR for this wonderful initiative on decoding this Nippon. And Geeta ma'am has already talked about the what, why of this Nippon. And I'll be taking it forward and we'll be talking about how teachers can play an important role in achieving this foundational literacy and numeracy. When we talk about bringing up the children, raising the children, we always say it takes a village to raise a child. It's not me, it's not you, it's not a single person who can help achieve this goal. This is the combined teamwork where it comes the role of a teacher, where comes the role of the community, the parents, all the stakeholders, whoever is involved therein. So we have to identify our roles, our responsibilities for that. So may I request you to please let me share my screen. I suppose my screen is visible now. Yes. So here I'm going to talk about, ma'am has already talked about like how to talk about this Nippon and all. And here, let us talk about ensuring school readiness for class 1, class 2 children, so that they should be able to talk about the foundational basic things. Then only they'll be able to read the complex tasks. And for that, I would certainly stress on assessment for learning. In schools, we always talk about assessment of learning. And during this pandemic, we all have learned a lot about assessment of learning, assessment for learning, and nowadays we're talking about assessment as learning. So there are a number of strategies to assess the level of the students. Here for the younger ones, assessment for learning, this is really very, very important. When we get to know the level of the child's understanding, as well as teachers, what we have to do to bring up to that kind of level when we are talking about SDG for quality education that we have to achieve by our target is 2030. So here assessments, we all know, they help in understanding the learning levels of the children and if any corrective measure is required. They can be categorized as school level assessment and maybe the large scale standardized assessment. First of all, when I'm talking about school level assessments, let me bring it to the level of a class level assessment. Let me bring it to the level of when there is proper interaction between a teacher and a student. We should get to know, we should adopt and adapt to various visible thinking routines, where we'll get to know what is the level of child's understanding. And first and foremost thing for that is we have to encourage our children to speak, to talk more, talking to the peer group, talking to the teachers, talking in our morning assemblies. Only then that stage fear, the fear of talking, that will go out. So this is really, really very, very important, because most of the time what happens in our traditional classrooms, it is the teacher who speaks all of the time. And children, they're the passive listeners. Most of the time in our classrooms, monotonous work happens. Either we find little children copying from the board, whatever the teacher has written. Maybe the teacher is talking about sight words. Maybe the teacher is starting with the 2-letter words, 3-letter words, whatever. So most of the time it is seen like there is lack of student-teacher engagement. So students, they become the passive listeners. We need to foster that kind of interaction in our students. Like they should come up, they should come forward and become the active participants instead of being the passive listeners. Just for example, when the children, they start learning about alphabet, they are recognizing the different letters of the alphabet. They should know, they should be knowing about like small letters, capital letters, when and where to be used. Let us teach them the way in which we find the words in the dictionary. So we have to start teaching our students right from the basic stage, that is from the foundational level, same way In the same way where they will be talking, they will be learning in their higher grades. So this should be our strategy of teaching in our school level, various assessment for learning strategies to be adapted and adopted, where it can be peer teaching, it can be group reading, that kind of things can be done. It can be concept mapping right from very early age. Let the children then recognize whatever the objects are at home. When we are talking about the children at the lowest level, grade 1, KG, kindergarten level and all, they should be able to identify the objects at their home and their circle. They should be able to, excuse me, pardon, is there somebody who is asking something?
No,
I think
it's okay.
There's some disturbance.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Please carry on. Please carry on.
So they should be able to identify the different objects, would be able to not only in their mother language, when we are talking about reading, when we always talk about, like, there should be multilingualism at the till grade 5. We can bring it to grade 8 level as well. When we're talking about learning English, they are learning English as a language, they are learning Hindi as a language, they are learning their mother language as a language. So here the children, they should be able to identify any of the object in all the different languages. For that, what we can do is we have to partner first of all with the parents. We should be able to identify, we should be able to note, we should be able to talk to the parents regarding about their culture, about their background, about the language that it is being spoken at their home, so that we will be able to connect in a better manner with our children. So here I was talking about some of the strategies that we can adopt and adapt to at our school. It is maybe right from early age, the children, they talk about alphabet matching. First of all, they should recognize the various alphabet, the letters of the alphabet, small letters, capital letters, then joining these letters. Then, as Geeta ma'am has rightly said, different kinds of activities to be conducted to recognize the sight words. That is really very, very important. Why the children, they have to again spend a lot of time in learning these kind of sight words. Wherever, for example, if they see somewhere IS is written, why again they have to talk about the phonics, they have to talk about the sound. It says E, so, is, why they have to speak like that? They have to recognize these letters as and when they see. That is the sight words. So we have to plan our strategies accordingly. Alas, in most of the schools, it's not happening. Reason, the teachers, they are not properly trained. They do not know how to teach. Still, they have been teaching the children in that old traditional manner, maybe the manner in which I have studied. Maybe I was also learning CAT, cat. I have not learned k, then at, cat. This would show you something when I'll stop sharing my screen for a while, and then I'll just put it back again. For example, I am just having this in my hand. Suppose this kind of TLMs, teaching learning material, when we talk about. So here, when the children, they will be writing, or the teachers or the parents, they would be helping the children. They would be writing the different letters of the alphabet, and then they will be having these kind of words. They'll quickly recognize this is at, and then it becomes ka, cat, bat, fat. So these are the small things I'm talking about. These are the initial steps, foundational literacy when we are talking about. Children, they should be able to, first of all, they should be able to write their name. We have to engage them in such kind of activities. These kinds of letters, they should be able to arrange. And such kind of engagement when we will be having in our class. For example, this is a name train that is being done by pre-primary, preschool children, and they know these are the letters of the alphabet, and they are arranging them to identify their name. Let them spell their name first of all. And likewise, when we are talking about numeracy skills, here are certain kinds of activities that you can plan. Like they should be knowing about ones and tens. Let them bring it to that level, abacus is there. If it's not like that, every time you have to go to the market and fetch the things and procure and spend a lot of money. With whatever things they are available at our home, we can easily make these kind of TLMs, teaching learning material. Here, very sorry to say, when our children, they talk about any number, 24, 45, 36, they are not able to recognize, they are not able to tell the difference between the value of, if the number is 35, they consider 3 and 5 equal. They are having equal values. They are not able to understand like 5 is at the ones place and 3 is not actually 3, it's 3, 0, 30, it's 3 tens. So we have to teach them in that manner. This is the gap. When NIPUN Bharat, we're talking about foundational literacy and numeracy, obviously there is a learning gap when we always talk about. Have we ever talked about teaching gap? Yes, there is a teaching gap as well. We sometimes do not realize what we have to teach. We need to identify the needs of our children, that all are very well highlighted in this NIPUN Bharat. Very well. The NIPUN project, it is very well explained what we have to do. We have to identify learning gaps. We have to identify teaching gaps. Then only we can move ahead. So going again, continuing with my presentation. So here we are talking about assessment for learning, school-based assessment. I have already talked about when the children, they will be making these kinds of TLMs as guided by the teachers, as done in the presence of the parents at their home. This would be facilitating the learning progress. And NIPUN also talks about, let us facilitate the learning in a manner like teaching learning process. It should not stop within the 4 walls of the classroom or just end in a Zoom room or a Google room or a Microsoft Teams. It should not end over there. We should be able to connect their learning with the real life, so that as and when they go out in the community, in the circle, in the park, in the society, at their room, they should be able to identify those kinds of objects, those kinds of things over there, and they will be able to relate their classroom learning with the real life. That is what is being expected from us, the teaching community, like what we have to teach our children, right? And here comes the large scale standardized assessment. When we talk about this, to come to this level, we need to learn collaboration instead of competition. Most of the time, we always talk about inter-school competition, reading competition, inter-school dance competition, inter-school that competition. Nobody talks about collaboration. So when we talk about competition, our focus is just to grab the prizes, win the prizes, and get certificates. And yes, our school is the best. We have to come up. We have to raise our level. Let us talk about collaboration. Whatever everybody is doing, each and every school head, when we talk about, they're the pedagogical leaders. Let us all join our hands. Let us all make a bridge so that our children can walk on very easily. Can we support them? For that, let us come up with some collaborative projects. CBSE has given us Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. Let us collaborate, learn about various art integrated projects, various art forms, cultures of art. When we talk about India, unity in diversity, do we know about what is being happening in the other states of our country? So this is how we need to collaborate with other schools. Let us have partner schools where we can have collaborative learning practices. So what we are observing pandemic, we are facing it. We can have some online sessions. And now with God's grace, we are looking forward to reopening of our school for the junior ones also in phases, though we are opening. Maybe on alternate days coming to the school. Maybe they are coming to the school twice a week. Can we have some collaborative sessions, maybe online, where each child is sharing about his or her own experience, whatever they have learned? Such kind of standardized assessments where we talk about assessment for learning. Assessment for learning to enhance the learning of the students. And here, I know you all must have heard a lot about this example in all your sessions that you have attended in pandemic. And if not, I really would like to quote the same once again for all of you. At home, when you cook something, your favorite dish, maybe best dish for the guest, before serving that dish to your guest, if you taste it once and you check, yes, there is something missing. Maybe salt is less, maybe it is more spicy, maybe you have to add more curry to it, whatever you find it out. That is called assessment for learning. Means you can change it, you can modulate it, you can add, or I mean, whatever you want to do is modify it so that you can present the best to your guest. But if you serve the same to your guest without checking it, and then you get the feedback from your guest, like this is not up to the mark, that becomes assessment of learning. When we talk about, yes, we have been given grades or marks. So this is assessment for learning. Let us first check the levels of our students. Where are they standing? And accordingly, we have to make changes into our teaching strategies. This is what is being expected out of us. And let us all join our hands to do this for our little ones so that their foundation will be rock strong. And they should be able to fly high in the sky and grab their dreams. And let me go to the next slide. Here comes holistic progress cards to assess children's growth and development. Holistic progress card is possible when we are really focusing on holistic assessment of our children. What we are focusing? UTs, periodic tests, whatever we say, and in that we talk about pen and paper test. We give such kind of worksheets, assignments to our students, and they are involved in such kind of activities. We give them marks. English 20 out of 20, Hindi 14 out of 20, maths, we just limit them in grades and numbers. We need to talk about holistic progress card, in which we should be talking about their reading skills. LSRW, all the skill, but again, it is not limited to only LSRW. Suppose we are talking about reading. Okay, we are talking about reading. Let us elaborate reading. When a child is reading, can we have different kinds of rubrics, different kinds of parameters for the child's spoken part when the child is reading anything, like whether the child is fluent, wherever the child is having any kind of difficulties? Is the child repeating some of the words time and again? Is the child reading and correcting himself or herself to come to that kind of level? Or maybe is the child omitting some of the words because either the child is not able to relate those words to the real life, or it can be the reason like the child is not able to join the letters of the word to get the proper sounds, because we are not teaching our children in that manner. If we're talking about phonic sounds, how many of our pre-primary, preschool teachers, they know the phonic sounds? It's not everywhere. I'm not talking about only metropolitan cities where we are all having all the children who are all the teachers who are very, very fluent, very well versed with this phonic sounds and all. I'm talking about the schools that are there in the streets, in the corners, in the gullies, mohallas, villages, wherever they are. I mean, we have to talk about those teachers as well. Maybe we just start teaching to our students when we are not clear about the phonic sounds. This is what we are teaching to our children, and their foundation doesn't become strong and they are not able to read, and there becomes the gap that Geeta ma'am has already highlighted. Like till grade 3 level, when the child is able to read the simple word, at least then he should be able to read and connect the complex words, and then only the progress will begin. Here is when we talk about progressive curriculum, progressive education. At each and every step, LOs, learning objectives, learning outcomes to be mapped. CBSE has given us a wonderful manual on learning objectives, on learning outcomes. It's so big. Maybe most of us have not gone through that big manual. Can we have our in-school, in-house sessions where we can divide that in groups, like this teacher has to read and facilitate this kind of discussion, like how we can achieve these learning outcomes. Let us have some kind of strategies. And CIR, again, it's a wonderful, CIR is a wonderful platform that he has taken about talking about NIPUN Bharat. We will be talking about soon learning objectives, learning outcomes as well. This would be indeed a great initiative where we all will be collaborating to achieve the same. And here, let me just go through the points that have been highlighted. It provides like reporting, unlike a single score, letter grade, as I've told you, it's not ABC grading. It's not A plus plus B plus plus. It's not about marks. It is going beyond academics and indicates progress in literacy, numeracy, and in other such areas such as psychomotor skills, environmental awareness, personal hygiene. The child is coming to you unkempt, hair not combed, not dressed up properly, nails not trimmed, right? And you are just focusing on your daily task. So, I mean, what becomes the role of the teacher that time? We need to groom them as, you see, complete individuals. For that, we need to guide them that they should be focusing on their holistic part, holistic growth. So like painting, drawing, clay work, toy making, inquiry learning, student portfolios, quizzes, group work, role plays. For each and everything, one full-fledged session can be conducted. Parent, peer, self-assessment can be used to record 360-degree progress. Now, what is holistic 360-degree? Where it's not only the teacher who is just assessing, it is A, B, C, D. It is the child who is also assessing. Like last time I was at this level, now I am at this level. The child is able to visualize his or her growth. Even the parents should be the partners in assessment. They should be able to grade. We have to create such kind of performance, such kind of activities for the homework. But let the parents also assess. Teachers also assess. There should be peer assessment too. Then only it will become holistic assessment. Here we are talking about portfolios. Alas, CBSE has already started this initiative, 5 marks to the students in the internal assessment for this portfolio. But this is not being done in most of the schools, most of the teachers. I have met most of them and they are taking it as just notebooks. If they are complete, work is done, question answers written, give them marks 5 out of 5. Handwriting is neat, not neat, give 4, 3, 2, 1. And what is portfolio? They do not know about what is a portfolio, where the student shows his or her work. That is my work. The child is able to recognize this is my best work. This is the work where I have been given feedback from my teacher and I have to improve it. Yes, I was at this level in the beginning of the session. In the mid of the session, I have come to this level. At the end of the session, when I am going to be promoted in the new class, I am at this level. Beginning of the session, when I entered grade 1, I was able to read these 15 or 20 words. And in the middle of the session, maybe after half yearly, now I'm able to read 50 words. So 30 more words I have added to my vocabulary. At the end of the session, when now I'm being promoted to grade 2, I am able to read 100 words. So what is my scope? What is my next target? Is your child, are our children able to identify their targets, like what they have to do? This is what we have to do as teachers. So here, next I'm talking about enabling teachers to ensure NIPUN Bharat is a success. How we can do? How teachers can help the children acquire foundational literacy and numeracy. By being aware about learning outcomes at grade level, I have already discussed with you. Let us go through the LOs that have been given to us in that manual. By training in multi-level play-based student-centered style of learning, that kind of activities to be conducted in the class, playway, joyful activities, inquiry-based. Again, We do not understand most of the time. Play weight is not just for many of us, it is just playing with toys and learning something. It is actually inquiry based learning. Let the children come up with various kinds of questions. Let the children inquire. We as teachers should be ready to accept all kinds of questions. Let us not label these kind of questions as silly questions, not to be asked questions. I mean, you always come up with such kind of questions. This is irrelevant question. Why those questions are irrelevant? Just because we do not know the answers to those questions. Why? We don't have exposure. We need to widen our scope. When we talk about education 4.0, here it becomes, we have to be tech savvy, techno savvy. We have to teach the students in that manner, going a level beyond. Education 5.0, that talks about, like, teachers should not be like parrots. They should not be like reading whatever is being read in the book and speaking in the class, and the children, they are following the same and just learning the same and speaking the same. No, teachers should be the research scholars. Let them research, let them gather some data. Like, we have to give the very best to our students. So this is what is being expected out of us as teachers. Now, by focusing on imparting experiential learning through art, story, poetry, rhymes, games, toys, songs, activities in mother language. Why mother language? Obviously, the children, they are able to connect it with it. And slowly and gradually, we have to start wherever the children, I've already mentioned, there are many children who are speaking, I mean, maybe English language, maybe Hindi language, Punjabi, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, whatever they are speaking at their homes. We first need to gather some data in the form of anecdotal records, where we have to write about the background of our children, where do they belong to, and accordingly we have to facilitate the learning. This is not an easy task. Certainly, teachers have to work day in and day out. This is what our job is, why we have become teachers. It is really not, I mean to say, it's a 6 hours or 7 hours job. It's a 24 into 7 hours job. While speaking, while sitting, while sleeping, also you should think about, how can my children improve? Then only you can be actually a teacher and educator. So here next is by using formative assessment that we have already discussed, number of assessments. Here I have jotted down some of the activities that we are conducting, and some of you must also be conducting. Just going to quickly read: alphabet matching, such kind of activities we are doing. Concept mappings, just have a concept in the class. I'll just stop sharing my screen now because I have already gone through this, what I want to say. And here just would like to read a few of the points for you all. Concept mapping, in which let us create a concept and the children, they'll be working in a group and we'll be talking about, yes, how it is related to real life, how these concepts are connected with each other. Entry and exit tickets. When the child is stepping out of your class, let the child express maybe on a piece of paper what the child has learned during the class. And you can have an entry ticket also while entering the class. Okay, how much your child remember, what did you teach the last day? So this is how these kind of activities can be done. Group reading activities, read aloud, read-a-thon, dear program, drop everything and read. Don't do anything that time. Let us just read. Story sessions, narrations, dramas, dance, debates. These little children, they have a lot of things to argue, comment, positive comments. So let us involve them in such kinds of activities. Peer tutoring, reciprocal teaching. Most of us do not know anything about reciprocal teaching. See, when I am saying most of us, it doesn't mean that I know and you don't know. Please don't take it that way. Reciprocal teaching is certainly when the teacher would be facilitating and let the children, they come up with the reasons. why the same has been written over there by the author. Let the children put themselves into the shoes of the author, in the shoes of the poet. And then visual imageries. Can our children doodle whatever they see in their own small little, doodling with the pencil and whatever they are seeing? Let them, that kind of teaching can also be done so that they can enhance their vocabulary. The more would be the vocabulary, the easy would be for the children to communicate. That would be very easy for them. We can have word walls in our classrooms. And if your children, they are not coming to the physical classroom, there are a number of wonderful tools. Padlet is a wonderful tool where you can go ahead with the virtual word walls, virtual display boards, right? And there are another platforms, digital platforms. Reading progress apps are there that can be used and are freely available. Children will be able to check their progress. Another thing is the Khan Academy Kids. Wonderful app. Please do explore. Let your children go through Khan Academy Kids. That is a wonderful tool, enhance vocabulary and reading progress as well. It having sight words, each and everything, age appropriate level. And there is another website, pschool.in. It's simple, pschool.in, freely available website where children, they can have number of activities. And here, before I end my part, lastly, I just would like to share something with you. Here on the screen, you will be able to see, like, it's a Microsoft Edge platform. When you are opening anything on your Microsoft Edge platform, you will be able to access here Immersive Reader, right? Like, for example, I opened this passage from here, and then I went to Immersive Reader, and here you will be able to get the read aloud. It will be reading for your students, where you cannot be available for your children every time, offline or online. And there are parents who are not able to facilitate whatever you are teaching in school, right? Because maybe they are not literate enough. Maybe they are not having sufficient time. Any kind of constraints can be there. So here is a wonderful tool where they'll be able to read, and it will be reading out for them. There would be different text preferences. Little children, they want to increase the text size. Yes, they can increase the text size. Text spacing can be increased. Font can be changed. Page theme background can be changed. They can have different colors of their own choice, right? And then there are grammar tools. If you want your children to go, they have to identify nouns, highlighting nouns. They should be able to know these are the verbs. These are the adjectives, adverbs. So accordingly, you can choose the colors. Not only this, it will highlight syllables also, where they have to stop, level, maturity, with proper intonation, stress, everything they'll be able to learn. Show labels. It will be labeling everywhere, nouns, verbs, whatever you want to do. One by one, you want to highlight. All together, you want to highlight. Syllabus only. So this is how you can use it. And not only this, reading preferences. When we talk about inclusive classrooms, our children, sometimes they're not able to focus on a particular line. While reading first line, sometimes they forget and they go to the line number 2. So because they're in a habit of putting their finger while reading. So let's go to the line focus. So when they'll be reading, that particular line will be highlighted for them. This is like more than one line. As and when they grow, the level increases. You can go from this one line to more number of lines, right? And to a paragraph. And this is having a wonderful picture dictionary too. Children, when they don't know about some of the words, like, for example, it's a strong. There is a picture dictionary as well. So they'll be able to read it. Please to help them with that. They should be able to use it, and parents, they can facilitate. this on a browser, they can open it on their mobile phone. Everybody's having a smartphone, and the children, they are attending their classes either from smartphone, from tab, from the laptop, PCs. So this is a freely available tool that will enhance in achieving our target of foundational literacy and numeracy. Here, reading preference, I was talking about another thing. Picture dictionary. Next is translate. You want to translate this into a different language. If the children are there who want to understand the meaning of this in their own language, see, 60 languages are available. 60 languages, including Hindi. Translate entire page, or you want to translate line to line. I want to translate the entire page. See, this has been translated into Hindi language, right? Make sure you use it. And let me go back to that language because I forgot to show you one more thing. Okay, English language. Now I'm clicking on read aloud with reading preference line focus. This, I hope I have shared sound as well. You will be able to get the sound. If not, please do let me know.
Due to the level of maturity and inconsistency in first grade students, research has not been...
I hope it was audible. Now, you can go to voice options. From here, you can increase or decrease the speed at which you are able to get the voice. You can select like Indian accent, UK, United States, I mean, any kind of accent you can select, and in that you will be able to get to listen. Like, for example, let me talk about this. If I'm Indian accent, Microsoft Hira. Let me start again.
Due to the level of maturity and inconsistency in first grade students, research has not been strong for this reading level.
So this was what I just wanted to share with you. I mean, you will be able to facilitate this foundational literacy and numeracy. That's all from my side, Dipali ma'am. Thanks all.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very beautiful session. I am sure all the people present here have really enjoyed both the sessions because Geeta ma'am stressed on what the child needs to learn, how the teacher facilitates, and you stressed upon how the learning competencies can be developed in the child and how they can be assessed. I think assessment is a very important part of a child's learning experience, because until that is done, the teacher does not know how much the child has learned, and therefore the challenge lies with the teacher. And I think, as you mentioned, there are various platforms available for the teacher to learn and train. And you also mentioned that we can continue to have more sessions with you, many of them, to share the best practices, share more on this, because rightfully, I think CIR has done a wonderful job in thinking about enabling teachers to understand the necessity for foundational literacy and numeracy. We have got many accolades for both of you on the chat box. I think many of teachers have thanked both of you very much for the fantabulous session, for the wonderful session. Some of them have even shared that, one of the schools is, one of the teachers have shared that Manjunath said that they are in a small village, but they are in their own school, the teachers are practicing with phonics. So that's accolades to that teacher for trying that kind of thing, And so then we know that it is all about passion. It is all about passion. And I'm sure we are, CIR is a great platform to create that passion in the teachers. If there are any questions from the audience, I don't see any in the chat box right now. Can we see?
We have some 10 minutes extra, ma'am. So no too much we can take.
If there are any questions which people would like to ask, participants would like to ask, can we leave the floor open to them?
So if you can just raise that virtual hand, we will raise.
Getting a lot of accolades for both ma'ams. That was wonderful. And we will continue with these sessions, certainly. Comprehensive presentations. Wonderful.
So once in a month we can deal it, ma'am. Anyway, we are coming up with that another series next. This is about best practice. So one Saturday is dedicated for that. One Saturday we can dedicate for Nippon. Yeah, Vimala, ma'am. Ma'am, you want to ask some question, Vimala, ma'am?
I think she's raised her hand.
Sister Vimala, sorry. Yeah.
Sister Vimala, yeah.
You can unmute, yeah.
It was both the sessions are very good, sir. It was very informative and very innovative. Working in private schools, understanding children's problem is very easy. But then speaking about the reciprocal teaching, as ma'am said that when we are only teaching, we don't allow the students to ask questions or whatever. It is very much true. We are only busy with our teaching, completing the curriculum portions. So in which are the ways that we encourage the students to participate more?
I think what the sister's asking is how can we encourage reciprocal teaching? Can you share a few examples?
Some
Is that,
examples?
yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I think in both Meenakshi ma'am and Geeta ma'am can answer this question.
Yeah, certainly. So when ma'am is talking about reciprocal teaching, so here in that reciprocal teaching, it is not the teacher only who is reading a passage or maybe comprehending for the children. Suppose they all are sitting in a group, children, and because there can be, it is a full-fledged strategy, and in which a proper half an hour at least session can be conducted on reciprocal teaching. Suppose teachers, students are sitting and there is one paragraph over there. How to implement, I'll just quickly explain. So each and every child is reading one or two lines and is able to explain why that line is written and what could be the reason behind writing this very particular line. And then one by one they are talking about the children, they will be discussing what stand high, how of that, and later on they will be able to answer the given question when we're talking about reading passage, reading comprehension. So it is not the teacher who is giving the paragraph and reading, and then the children, they are doing the question answer. It is the child who is doing analysis of reading. So that is reciprocal teaching, where teachers are not teaching, where it is the students who are teaching, right? So this is happening in reciprocal teaching. In the upcoming session, we can take this in detail.
More sessions. Can I share an example? I think maybe sister would be happy to know this example. My sister herself is a teacher and she was sharing this example with me. You know, when she was teaching the children Alice in Wonderland, you know, she was doing a reading session with the children. So there is a place where all the members together, along with Alice, they are running a race. And there, she stops there, and then she asks the children to, question, what is a race? Why is it necessary to run a race? Why do people race? So these are the questions that prompt the children to start thinking and then giving answers whatever way they can. As Meenakshi ma'am mentioned, there are no stupid questions. Every question is important, and that is what we should drill into the child from the very beginning, foundational stage. Am I right, Meenakshi ma'am? Have I supported your...
Certainly, ma'am. Very well explained. Yeah.
There's a question from, I don't know, the name is not popping up, but what is the importance of art and craft for child?
See, art and craft is really very important. First of all, the children, they love art and craft. They would like to, their psychomotor skills, their kinesthetic skills, they are being enhanced when they are doing something with their hand. They remember it for a longer period of time. Children, they love the world of colors, right? Art, drawing something, doing with their own hands. And when anything colorful is there, they're able to recognize so many things. You should talk in colors. We always talk about color sessions. Today is a red day, green day, yellow day. First, we make them to identify different colors. And when there is art integration is there, we can achieve that through art integration. And here, certainly, art integration is not only about paper, coloring and all. Art is music, dance, drama, debate, whatever. I mean, music, there are different art forms. You just let me know when we sing 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4. We don't forget it. We sing it in a like that A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I mean, that kind of rhyme, we don't forget the letters. So that is art. So this is really very important. Otherwise, it becomes boring. And when we learn something in rhythm and rhyme, we remember it forever for a longer period of time. So art is, very important at each and every level.
I think I would like to share another example, if I may. This morning, it so happened that we were discussing among our schoolmates in the chat. We have a chat group, and one of them was talking about, that she used to have a lot of difficulty in remembering the Kabir dohas. So the teacher told her, "Why don't you sing them?" And that's what you're corroborating. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
I think we don't have any other questions. I think, Srishan sir, I think we don't have any other questions.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Shall we close now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, first of all, I would like to thank CEIR for organizing this program, and Vijay ma'am particularly for coming up with the idea, because rightfully, I think both Meenakshi ma'am and Geeta ma'am pointed out that while there are so many documents and information available on through CBSE, through the NIPUN Bharat programs are also being, the documents are also being shared, but we really don't have time to read them, many of us. And the platform has this CIR has rightly given a platform for teachers to understand why these documents are being propagated. And so this was the first of the sessions that we had, and then we will be continuing with these sessions every month, once in a month, Rishan sir, if I'm not wrong. So, and if there are any ideas from any of you on what you need, that would be very welcome. You can write to CER Group Global as to what are your difficulty levels when you're teaching the primary levels at the foundational and literacy levels, because you understand that, the child, it's not just about reading. It's subsequently later on about comprehending. It is about constructing the knowledge. It is about analysis. We are talking later on about the different skills, the competencies, other skills in higher classes where children should acquire. And it cannot happen without the basic foundation that the child gets. So Meenakshi ma'am and Geeta ma'am, I think I have reversed the order, but thank you very, very much for being here with us today. And with the examples and that you shared, I think everything has gone down very well with the participants. Thank you once again for being with us. And we hope to see a lot more of you and to learn more from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the wonderful opportunity.
So, ma'am, next Saturday is also, you can announce it.
Yeah, so the next Saturday, there is CR has organized a session, same time, 4:30 on 30th October 2021. And this session will be about best practices of schools. And these best practices are being shared by the recipients of the National Award constituted by MHRD, Government of India. We hope to see all of you, and please do invite a lot more of your teachers, and especially because there's a lot of learning that happens when you understand what are the best practices happening across the country. Thank you so much, and we do hope to see you there again.
Yeah, from our side, this is an ongoing session every day, and Sunday is little special because we extend 15 minutes more. This is a mindfulness session. Today also we had a session with another school, and every morning 15 minutes, Sunday 30 minutes. We extend from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. So please do attend it. As all Meenakshi ma'am and Geeta ma'am suggested, this kind of transformation should happen within. Once we get the transformation, this will definitely radiate to our children and our society. So it is one of the most prestigious, project by CEIR to give you a session on a daily, because this has to be a routine. So every day it should be there. Please do attend. Please note down that at the same link today, what the link you have used, the same link can be used. Please do attend. Sunday 30 minutes, other days only 15 minutes, 7:30 to 7:45. So please go through that. I think Deepali ma'am is a regular
attendee. I am a regular attendee, and one of the best things that I've learned so far on this is discipline. Being disciplined about attending those sessions. That's the first benefit I have acquired. And of course, being mindful of the time, the day, that's something which I'm sure, attend at least one session to start with, and then you will know the virtues of the session.
Correct. Even ma'am, her teachers are also attending. She made her friends to attend. So it's actually spreading because we have to spread the positivity. So let us unite together, and we have a mission in our mind. Whatever little we could do from our side, we are doing it. And along with the knowledge part, this is another part, that transformation, inner transformation is what we are doing it. So please do attend tomorrow. And yes. So next Saturday, 4:30.
Hope to see all of you there.
Is back there, I guess, and this thing, network issues. It was a wonderful session. My heartiest listening, because my dear participants, we have given them very short notice. In that time itself, they prepared excellent way. My pranams to Veda ma'am and Meenakshi ma'am to educate us, because nobody, especially myself, I don't know much about Nippon. I have learned a little bit more about that particular this thing. I think many of them had the same experience. Thank you, dear all. Vande Guru.
Vande Guru. Thank you so much.